Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. I was just talking about oxygen, so the beat of it got cut off, obviously. You know, these things I'm talking are common sense, and they're very powerful, but, you know, it's just the way it is. No need to talk about it, because it's just nonsense. So let's go back to what it matters, energy sources, fundamental energy. So I was talking about breathing and oxygen is this compound, right? It's this active, highly active compound, you know, that if you have oxygen, you can turn it into flames very quickly because it's powerful. There's a lot of energy in it. If you look at oxygen at a molecular level, there is an incredible amount of energy contained within an oxygen molecule. Oxygen is, you know, powerful. It's a powerful element because it's a fundamental element of creation. And we are creation, we're energy, but at a different level. We're molecular, we're biological. Oxygen is energetic. It's a different type of molecular existence. It's an energetic compound. It is an element, and its chemistry operates differently. But our body, our evolution, essentially, our system requires oxygen to operate because it's an energy source. So instead of burning it like a flame, what you would do if you actually use fire to explain the active nature of oxygen, instead of burning it, what you use, you inhale it through the human body, then you release the energy content of the oxygen molecules through the body. It degrades, it breaks down through, you know, the different systems that we have, chemically speaking, in the body, and then that is used as an energy source. Oxygen is used as an energy source of the body. That's why we couldn't live without oxygen, because oxygen is that energy thing. So it's kind of like what keeps us going, because I mean the heartbeat is electrical and it creates the systems. So the systems are alive. Energy is the power source, is the energy source. But then you need to keep the engine going, so it needs a fuel that does like the actual things, because we're highly evolved beings. I mean, we're energy, we're spherical live beings. So we are creators, you know, we create life, we're powerful, we are an incredible species. So you need more than just the electrical pulse of the heart to keep the engine going, the human body. So oxygen is this element that nature, through evolution, has wisely chosen as the best compound for energetic purposes as a fuel of the human body, because of its natural ability to break down molecularly and be absorbed by the bloodstream and be moved across the body through the pumping of the brain of you know, the heart is important. It doesn't only create us, but it's also the one that moves the energy around through the bloodstream. So the energy, meaning the oxygen, it moves the oxygen, the fuel around the body, so things keep going, we keep doing what we do. So oxygen is incredible, and it's all through breathing, through our lungs, through the heart, all these, you know, mechanisms. I'm not going to give the biological names, but there is two motions of the pumping of the heart that make the blood that's oxygenated and the non-oxygenated blood move around, so we can keep on breathing and moving it through the body, and we keep, you know, be energized. It's a great energy source, let's put it that way. Oxygen, it keeps us alive. Being oxygenated is a wonderful thing, right? So it starts with the sunlight, we get stimulated, then the movement and the breathing. Powerful energy source. You see, they're all happening together simultaneously. It's all happening at once. That's the beauty of the homeostasis. Symbiosis is that. It's the beauty of synergy. Everything's coming together at once, always. It's all these perfect harmonies, this rhythm. It's this concert, beautiful concert of biology and life. This is who we are. The human body is an incredible thing. This is why we're capable of creating the things that we do. We're spherical light beings, you understand? So the spherical light being, which is the sun, created the spherical light being, which is the earth, at a much denser level of energy that created life ourselves. And now we can just be as light and as powerful as the sun with our spherical light being in terms of creation. We create at a biological scale. This is the density of who we are. Our scale of creation is biology, but we still create. And we have the ability to have current to our bodies, biochemically speaking. We are amazing. We are infinite love, we're infinite creation. This is why we're spherical light beings. And this is why this message is important, because we have metamorphosized into this amazing race of like super sentient beings, where we create with love and biologically as well. And we create the most incredible technologies and the most incredible things because we manifest it with our free will, because our brain has this incredible power to create and imagine. And then with our hands and our actions and our intelligence, we just get it done. We're incredible. I mean, the human race is an amazing, amazing, amazing species. It's all because of the heart. It's all because of light. So water, let's talk about water. Another incredible energy source. Another incredible compound. It's an element. Water is an element. Chemically speaking, water is 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of oxygen. Then again, there's a lot of water is a superconductor as well. You know, it conducts electricity because we're electrical. So a lot of blood and all these organs. There's a lot of the biochemically speaking. You know, the human cells has a lot of liquid in it. It's a lot of water because we are electrical. So we need to be able to conduct electricity because we are energy, we're current. So the body needs to just move electricity constantly throughout it so it can do its thing, its beauty, which is us being alive, being creators. And this second fuel that we require is a much denser fuel than oxygen. As you can see, it's not only oxygen, it's oxygen and 2 molecules of hydrogen, H2O. So what is the meaning of these? Well, it's a denser type of compound. So it's not as important and as required as oxygen, because oxygen is constant. You see, if you don't have oxygen in your organism, we cease to exist, because the heartbeat needs it, because of the pumping of the blood, because it's part of this biochemistry of the impulse of creation. This pulse, this feedback requires oxygen as the burner for the biochemically of it to happen. So the heartbeat and the electromagnetic pulse actually has this combustion that creates life. It's the oxygen and the electricity. It's an incredible machine, the human body, human species. So if you think about it, water, so it's a much denser element. Oxygen is in the air, is a small molecule. We breathe it. It's very small. Water, it compounds into solid, it's liquid. Its nature is liquid. You can obviously freeze it if you like, and you can also have it in vapor. It vaporizes. It's part of the water cycle. There's different states of water. Even you can even get plasma out of water. So it's different states, but the one that we use for the most part is the liquid part of it. We drink water to keep us hydrated. Then again, the body needs it. It's a mechanism because we need to replenish ourselves. They're liquid. The water replenishes us. It keeps us hydrated and it keeps us going. It's an energy source. We also break down the water that we put in our system, because then again, what's water? Hydrogen and oxygen. 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen. So the oxygen and what's hydrogen, guys? It's also an active compound. In fact, it's much more active than oxygen. I mean, you try to burn hydrogen, the reaction will be quite the reaction. Let's put it that way. So obviously, it's this active compound, is this active element. And where is a hydrogen created? Think about it. At the core of the sun. The electromagnetic field of the sun, the electromagnetic force field creates, has this intrinsic mechanism, centrifugal force, gravitational pull that creates this singularity. And this singularity has to do with a phenomena that we on Earth have described as fusion. So essentially, the sun is electrical, and its energy, this singularity, that is energy collapsing. So this fusion is called, it's a fusion reaction. So in reality, the sun, I mean, if you want to think in human terms and human engineering, is a fusion reactor. But it's a gigantic natural fusion reactor that powers everything. So, and hydrogen, this particle, this element, this elemental molecule of creation is created at the heart of a star. It happens, is spewed by this fusion. So hydrogen kind of like comes as a result of, I believe hydrogen is the first element. I'm not too sure if it's the first one or the second one. I think it's the first one. And there's a reason for that. Is energy itself is this high energy. So it's hydrogen spews out of the sun. And then obviously, you know, it solidifies, and then through different gravitational phenomena, it solidifies and materializes, and that forms water eventually, because it kind of like, it glues, I mean, it comes together with oxygen and it forms and it liquefies. It gets denser, because H2O, water, is a much denser element, much denser. You know, you can see it. You can't see hydrogen, you can see water, because it comes together, it's liquid. It has different states, but for the most part, the way the human body consumes it is in a liquid manner. We can swallow ice, but then eventually the human body would melt it and it will be liquid. And then of course, you know, we also like, because we are an engine, really, like we are electrical, we have a current. When we sweat, you know, we also sometimes we have vapor coming out of us. You can see the heat when we sweat, which is water leaving the pores of the epidermis, the skin. You can see if the light is there, you can see the vapor because of the heat of the body. You know, it's a lot hotter, so you can see how the water kind of like becomes vapory. It's almost like a vape thing. You can see the vapor, the water. You know, we're incredible. We have this ability to generate heat, right? We have a temperature, a natural heat, 37 degrees, I think it is, Celsius. So it's a natural state. It's part of homeostasis. We have a natural state of that, and it's all connected, you see. So obviously hydrogen is much more reactive than oxygen because it's less dense, but it's much more reactive because it has higher concentrations of energy of it because of its nature, because it's the primordial element. It comes from the stars, from the heart of the stars in the fusion reaction. You know, it's this incredible energy source, hydrogen. So if you think about it fundamentally, we consume water, we drink water, and it keeps us alive. Obviously, we need oxygen. I think we cannot be without oxygen for more than 5 minutes. The human body, I mean, there are people who push it. Always human. There are incredible humans out there who push it to 7, 8, 10 minutes. But then again, it's not really, because they still have oxygen in their bodies, hemoglobin-wise, and the blood has the oxygen. It's just like they don't have to inhale oxygen for a certain time because they do apnea and all sorts of breathing exercises, so they can actually regulate their bodies to maintain the oxygen levels within a certain threshold, so the body still functions without having new sources of oxygen coming in. But they still have oxygen inside, because if we had no oxygen inside, we will be dead. Just like if the heartbeat stops functioning, we will be dead. So water is similar. We are water. So it's denser. So it's not a few minutes without oxygen, but a few days. So if we don't consume water in a few days, we fully dehydrate and we die. So you see, these are fundamental things that keeps us alive: oxygen, breathing, sunlight, movement, stimulation. These are the energy sources that keeps the human body replenished, nourished, and going. So this is who we are. This is fundamentally who we are. And then, of course, there are three more energy sources that are fundamental, and one of them is food. We love food. We know it's a lot of energy. It's much denser than water, and obviously much denser than oxygen, than breathing. But it's fundamental. We need to eat. We have a digestive system because food has energy stored in it. Food essentially is energy. It's an energy source. You know, it's all these different ways that we call it: fiber, carbohydrates, doesn't protein. It's many different names that we give it. Sugar sources, like, but still, nonetheless, fats is still food source. Is energy, is energy stored in a molecular way, and that is food. Is a source, and we digest it. We eat it. We put food in our mouths, and then our body breaks it down, and it takes the energy of those nutrients and all the energy out of the solids that we put in our mouths, we ingest, and then the digestive system breaks it down and distributes it across the body for different functions so the body can function. So you see, it's an energy source, but it's much solid. It's solid. It's food. Food needs to be processed, it needs to be cooked, or it's just natural coming from a tree, but it takes a longer life cycle for it to actually exist. The cycle of food itself is much longer than the cycle of breathing oxygen or drinking water, because we don't have a way, technologically speaking, to make water. As in, like, we don't know how to create oxygen, and we don't know how to create hydrogen. What we know is how to put them together so it forms, and we understand how it forms in nature. So we have machines that do condensation, so it creates water and gets water from different sources and desalinates them and have water that is drinkable. But we don't know how to create water because we don't know how to create oxygen and we don't know how to create hydrogen yet. We're not a sun. We don't have an ability to create hydrogen and oxygen and have an atmosphere like that way. So essentially, food. So, and then the same with air, with oxygen. I mean, oxygen, we get it from the atmosphere, water from the environment, and we humans have been able to, to move water and manage it and take care of it. But we don't know how to create water. We know how water is created, but we cannot create water ourselves. Like, we cannot create wood. We cannot create any of these things because these are things that are outside our control. We don't have the technologies yet to create at the scale that the planet creates. So we just primitive in that regard. We're still learning. We're very early in our stages. This is why we just found out that we're electrical beings and we're infinite creators, because with so much for us to learn yet. Because we're very early, even though we metamorphosize into light beings and infinite creators, we're still very early in the stages of creation. We don't know how to create a sun. We don't know how to create a planet. We don't know how to create a human body, and we don't know how to create consciousness, and we don't even know how to create a human heartbeat. In fact, we don't even know how the human heartbeat functions properly, like the reason why it creates life and electromagnetic field in the first place. All these things are still like mysteries to us. We know what it does, it creates us, but we don't really know how it works, so we cannot replicate it. We think we do, but we don't really. It does its thing. That's what we call it nature. Oh, nature does its thing, yeah. But we don't really know. We're not on that level of creation yet. We're learning, and I'm sure that this is the whole purpose. I think we are going to get to that level where we're going to be just like the sun, because we're energy. We're going to be able to, with our own technologies, to create planets and to create suns that are natural, just like the ones that we see. But we're just a long time away from that, because we cannot have that power until we understand that who we are first. And this is why it starts with love. It's love, the force of creation, and biology has its ways. So that's why it comes in stages. Another great energy source outside food, which is important, We all know that the higher quality of the food, the more nutritious the food, the better it is for you, the more energy you have, the health you are, what you eat in a big way. So if you eat healthy food, you're going to be healthier because your body is nourished with high levels of nutrition, lots of good sources of energy and life. So that's just the way it is. So sleep is another energy source. It's a fundamental energy source. We sleep to recover. We heal when we sleep. Our brain enters different states, different wavelengths, so we can sleep, we can recover. We operate at a different state. You know, at least 7 to 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep is ideal. If you can have at least 6, 5, depending on the person, depends a lot on the individual, but 7 to 8, 9 hours is ideal. It gives you a lot of time to replenish and your body to heal and recover. So it re-energizes you. You get up refreshed. Your brain is to sleep. Your brain is to have a restive state. It's important because we're quite active with movement and stimulation all day long. We're breathing all day long. We're moving all day long, and that's why sometimes during the day it's another energy source is rest, because we might not be sleeping, but this is the final energy source, the fundamental energy source. There are 8 fundamental energy sources. So the other one is rest. So we don't sleep, but we might rest. It's not like a siesta, it's just resting. It's a resting state, like you can just be sitting and chilling, just resting, relaxing. You can breathe, you can chill, just resting, a resting state. When you're in a restive state, then you also recover and you heal, and then it's good for you. Your body appreciates it, particularly, for example, when you're exercising and doing exertion and a lot of these things that are, high impact energy wise. When you rest, you recover, and then you can go and do it again. It's all part of this ability that we all humans have. So I wanted to start this because this is a fundamental component of compass, time and energy. Who we are is the third primary element, time and energy. And energy is fundamental because we are energy. I will never cease to explain this because this is fundamental for us to understand who we are. And these are the 8 fundamental energy sources of us, infinite creators, infinite eternal creators, infinite love. This is who we are. This is our nature. Starts with the sun. The best energy source comes through our eyes. It stimulates us at the best possible rate that we could be stimulated at. We get into movement and breathing, and we drink water, we eat food, we sleep, we rest. But the most important energy source is by far sunlight. Sunlight is the most important energy source. Then breathing and water, they're extremely fundamental too. But sunlight is the one that gives us the most kick. Just like breathing gives us the oxygen to keep the body going, and water as well. But everything together, stimulation and movement, they're all together, they're all extreme. Without them, we need them all. That's why they're fundamental. We need them all. It's part of the foundation of our makeup, light spherical beings. But the most powerful one for us at this stage of development where we are is sunlight. Straight into our eyes, powering the body and stimulating us all the organs, and so we can become more conscious, more self-aware, breathe better, know when to do things better. It's just the way it is. Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my mind. We are the Republic of Planet Earth. We're the leaders of the Republic of Planet Earth, and we're the defenders of the Republic of Planet Earth. We were born at the right time, with the right circumstances and the right conditions, to liberate ourselves and know who we are, infinite light beings, spherical light beings. This is who we are. We're eternal creators. We create with a love. Love you all with all my heart, with all my might.